All joined by Paul at Villarreal. What an incredible day. Unbelievable. Historic. I mean, you can't even, I don't know the adjectives that you want to go, the superlatives. It's just, you can't even go big enough, in my opinion, right now. Now we're waiting for LinkedIn to connect here, and then we're going to go live on LinkedIn. So we'll have a little bit of a reset on the show when we do that. But wow. There we go. I think we're good. And here we go. What a day. What an incredible day here. We are live on LinkedIn as well, I believe. And it is just an incredible day here for Middle East peace here, Paul. We had President Trump and his team traveling over there to Israel, to Jerusalem, and speaking at Knesset, and also meeting with Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, the president over there, the leader of the Knesset. I mean, so many other people were there. Miriam Adelson was over there. Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, Monica Crowley, our ambassador, was there. I mean, so many, just the Margot Martin, the whole, not the whole team, but a lot of the team was there. Then went over to Sharm el Sheikh in Egypt and had an incredible event there. That was just an unbelievable event. We're going to have clips. We're going to have all kinds of stuff that we're going to go to on that. Just an incredible day. I keep using that superlative, but that is just what it was. I mean, I don't think anyone could have predicted this. I mean, the biggest, TDS victims, Trump derangement syndrome, the Trump haters, stuff like that. I mean, listen, a lot of Democrats were out there, and I don't want to say they had to eat crow, but I mean, I think that in a positive, some really stepped up and had some very positive messages. I think Vice President Harris said some good things. President Clinton said some good things. Others, I don't think they quite got there. You've been covering this all day. I know you've been putting clips up on your X account out there, and which is, I believe, really stoic one. Tell me what you saw today. Tell me what the experience has been, and then we'll get to some clips very quickly.
Yeah, it's been an amazing day. I like you said, a historic day. I think people are just so happy. It's just like an outpouring of emotion in a lot of different directions. And, you said, President Bill Clinton, and actually I do think Secretary Hillary Clinton said some nice things, I believe.
Excellent.
And a few other people. I just don't think anybody else could have done this.
No.
Because it wasn't just President Trump. Of course, it was him and his incredible relationships with the Emir of Qatar and Erdogan of Turkey and other people. It's also people
Milani,
like Steve
Pakistan, France. I mean, everyone was there. It was not to interrupt you, but I mean, this was most of the world, or a significant portion of the world was there. It was unbelievable, Paul.
Yeah, I like I said, I just think setting this up and actually getting this done would be so difficult for almost anybody else. But because of Trump's relationships with people, because of Steve Witkoff's ability, which President Trump talked about today, because of people like Jared Kushner, who helped seal the deal reportedly on this, it's just, you had like the dream team of people with the right opportunity, as you and I talked about off air. After what happened with Israel striking in Qatar, I think that opened things up. So it was just the right set of circumstances, meaning the proper team of individuals. And I get this historic day, and I just think most people are just incredibly happy.
The Doha strike definitely, I think, changed the game, changed the perception, changed the urgency there. But I want to go back to what you just said there for a second. How many people? And again, I don't want to be partisan about this or get into any of that, because it's a positive day. We want to stay on that. But I mean, how many people made fun on the Democrat side, made fun of Jared Kushner, Steve Witkoff? They didn't have the experience. Yeah. Is this an inside? Is this family? Blah, blah, all that type of talk. And man, did this team deliver. Howard Lutnick. Oh, they're real estate, people. They're his friends and family. I mean, Kushner, Ivanka, Witkoff, Lutnick. I mean, of course. And then he gave huge props and respect to Marco Rubio, called him one of the greatest secretaries of state of all time. Had a funny little jab there at him. That they still have their back and forth. That Trump is so funny. But I mean, what about that statement, Paul?
Yeah, the anecdote that Trump said today, and I believe it was during his, I can't remember if it was the speech to the Knesset or the speech that he gave in Egypt. But what he said about Witkoff, he was like, look, there's a lot of people, as you just mentioned, who underestimate Steve Witkoff. But he said, I always knew, because I've been friends with Witkoff for a long time. He's like, when I really knew he was going to succeed in this role was when we first sent him off to meet with Putin in Russia. He was only supposed to meet, this Trump's telling the story. He was only supposed to meet with Putin for like 10 minutes. He met with him for 5 hours.
Wow.
And the reason why he met with him for that long is because Putin liked him, and Witkoff was able to sustain this conversation and actually be interested. And basically what Trump was saying is, it's not just about what your credentials are. It's can you sync up with that person? Do they like you? And what Trump said is everybody likes Steve Witkoff.
Well, and they're deal makers.
I mean, it's a deal maker.
They're deal makers.
That's really important.
This isn't about books. This isn't about. I mean, I'm a Hopkins graduate, stuff like this. This isn't about the Say School or Georgetown. This and that, whatever. It's about going out there, actually face to face, people liking you, making deals. Let's get to some clips right now, because this is a big day. Margot Martin, who does press over there for, I think she does the social media stuff. For 1447, has been just very busy all day with the public. This is a public domain.
Can I just say something?
Very, very, very quickly. Go ahead.
Margot Martin does social media for President Trump.
There you go. Yep, she's fantastic. Public employee. This is public domain. Here we go. And let's just get right to it. So now this is a presser here. So he's talking to the press. Now this day started. It's probably been a couple days now, honestly. Frankly, you can't really hear it that clearly, but she's right behind it. So it starts there. People, I mean, it's okay. Seems like maybe a more normal trip, stuff like that. And then this just turned. I mean, this just blew me away. Here's him walking up Air Force One, doing his thing. Okay, look at that in the air, shot from the air, and now this one right here. Let's go to this. This is where you start getting a little bit of vibe. Now, I was following. There's some great accounts there. Obviously, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu Israel. A lot of Israeli accounts there. So you get some different. A lot of my friends in Silicon Valley. I don't say friends, but people I talk to. I mean, I don't want to be acquaintances. I don't know what you want to call it, social media, whatever like that. But people. Let me rephrase it. Let me reset that. People who have had some conversations or some interaction with online on X. We are live on X right now, live on Facebook, live on LinkedIn, whatever like that. Because I'm going to bunch of people in here, so I don't want to oversell anything. I want to be as accurate as I can in my personal opinion. And if I make a mistake, I have to apologize. All the disclaimers apply, of course. But you see different accounts that were, some people that are focused on this issue, that have some opinions on this issue, whether it be Sean McGuire, Bill Ackman, Joe Lonsdale, others. A lot of people have been posting on this thing, and I saw this here on the day. But you see that Israel was very much prepared, in my opinion, for Donald Trump's arrival. This was on the beach of Tel Aviv. Air Force One is coming in, and as we saw this, here we go. We've got this clip right here, courtesy of Margot Martin, again, public domain. Look at that. Look at that. It says it's in Hebrew and English. It has a big picture of Trump. It says "Welcome home," and it's very, very. But look at that on the beach. Look at the work that went into that. Very cool. So that when you go into that, now we have the arrival here in Green Airport. Great and red carpet, airport behind there. Then you have the president of Israel and Prime Minister Netanyahu, and here's the walk and talk, if you will. And they met and they talked for a while. Fox News was giving great coverage. A lot of the CNN was there. I was up last night watching the overnight coverage, and here we go. Here, right there. There you go. And then we have Netanyahu. So that was very cool. Now this is en route to the Knesset here. En route to the Knesset. I'll take some comments from Paul here before we get to that footage. And you have, I have a family in Israel. I've been over there, and they typically have a lot of their road signs are in 3 languages: English, Arabic, and Hebrew. Not necessarily in that order or whatever, but just obviously I'm an English speaker. But so you can see here, and I believe that the roads were paved, not paved, excuse me. At parts of the road they had, U.S. flags and Israeli flags. And then we have here, right before he goes in the Knesset, we'll get to that here in 1 second. Paul, your comment so far on some of this footage.
Yeah, the visuals today were incredible. They really rolled out, they literally rolled out the red carpet in Israel.
Yes.
And I did not realize, I know you've gotten to this yet, I did not realize how pretty that town is, that city is in Egypt. That's incredible.
Oh, yeah. That's a vacation town. In fact, I believe my wife
amazing.
went there and her family. That is and then some of our other family just went there. That is a resort, beautiful town at Sharm el Sheikh. That's a big deal. That's a very nice location there. I have never been there myself, but it is, I heard it's very, very beautiful, no doubt about it. So I've known about that for a while. So absolutely. Now let's continue. Let's continue this because again, the sights and sounds are absolutely incredible. And then we'll get to the discussion. We'll take your comments. And again, if you want to post something here in the chat, we can get to that as well. Obviously keep it legit. Here we go. So this is before he walks into the Knesset here. He was greeted by the leader of the Knesset out there. He's a pretty tall dude. And let's get some of that sound right here. Again, Margot Martin works for the government and public domain here, social media for President Trump. Or the Trump administration.
Is the war now officially over? Do you have any message, Mr.
Is the war officially over? Yes. Okay. Taking a press gaggle right here outside the Knesset.
Thank you.
Excellent. Okay, so that was a great clip. Now here you have, Prime Minister Netanyahu, his wife, Sarah, signing the guest log in the Knesset. This is the president of the Knesset right here. And let's get that sound right there. Let's go. Very powerful moment. Now, I believe that Trump worked out something where Bibi could have gone to the summit or whatever, the ceremony, the signing in Egypt. And I think that Bibi, I don't know. I'm not speaking for anyone. I just caught this very, very passionately. And maybe Paul saw there was some conflict. There's some scheduling conflict, maybe potentially with I don't know, the holidays or something like that. I'm not sure. I'm not alleging anything. But I know he wasn't there. Do we have more info on that, Paul?
What I heard, and I can't verify this because I wasn't paying a lot of attention to it, was that a couple of the leaders there supposedly pushed back on that. And I believe Erdogan and maybe somebody else. That's what I heard. I can't verify that.
Look, I don't know. I mean, who knows what happened? I mean, obviously a huge day, Prime Minister Netanyahu stepped up. All the leaders stepped up. I mean, Erdogan, Pakistan, Starmer was there, UK, so many people were there. Mark Carney, was there, Prime Minister. I'm sorry. I'm just going through names very fast. I'm not trying to shortchange anyone on their official titles or anything like that. Very respectful of everyone. This was such a big deal. This was a huge, huge deal. Great leaders in there. And you could see maybe some people, and we'll get to that in a second. I don't know if they thought they were going to have some speaking more time with Trump. I think it's probably hard because you probably had it. I don't know how many, like minimum 20 leaders there. It's hard to give everyone some time. And I know Trump was trying to finish fast, but of course Trump was doing the Trump thing. But he was being very respectful and stuff like that. But anyway, let's go back here. And now we are, I believe
we're something very fast.
Go ahead.
Sorry. No, there were at least 20 leaders there, maybe 25. And what Trump is up against is, number one, this is all put together very quickly.
Yes.
And Trump has to be back to tomorrow for the Charlie Kirk Memorial medal ceremony, because tomorrow it would have been Charlie Kirk's 32nd birthday.
Oh, wow.
So this all had to be done really fast. So Trump was basically in and out the whole day. And that's part of what
it was an incredible situation. And he did talk about putting this together with minutes and stuff like that. And hats off and props to all of the leaders there. I mean, that were able to make time and do this. And I think this shows not only the success and the persuasive power of this president, but also the importance and the focus of this moment and how much people are really intent on getting world peace here and really doing a heavy lift. Nobody knows how this is going to end up. And this has been going on. I mean, Trump said 3,000 years, but I mean, there's been obviously historic conflict over this in this region for a while. Not that anywhere in the world's perfect or anything like that, or that it's been conflict free by any stretch, through the history of time. But I think that this is obviously an area of the world that's very important for people. I think that people are hoping for the best, and hopefully we have the positive momentum. Nobody knows what the future holds, but this was such a big day. Better this than the fighting, right? I mean, and so let's go here. So you have Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Trump. I haven't seen this here. This is a little reporters here. Let's see let's get some of this sound.
Where he was killed, taken hostage.
Okay, yeah. This is meeting with the hostage family. So this is the other thing. Let's go for this. I mean, Trump was able to release all of the hostages, Paul. And there were hostages released on both sides. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people have been asking for that. That is a huge, huge deal. The yellow ribbons, everything like that. I mean, can we just say that that is a huge win? That is a huge win for President Trump. Do you not agree?
Oh, it's an massive,
and the world. I mean, everybody. The families, obviously, everybody.
Look,
yeah.
I'm going to tell you straight up, and this is just my own opinion, and I wasn't sure that was going to happen because of the circumstances around it, because of Israel, moving forward on Gaza City. It is absolutely unbelievable that he was able to do that.
And this goes to this thing. I mean, super tough. Super tough. The whole situation is super tough. We know that. Let's get a little more sound here.
Want to sincerely thank you for all.
I'm going to lean heavy on the clips because it's
words are not enough to express our deep gratitude and appreciation. Uganda, where he was killed, taken hostage.
And seeing some of these clips of I've seen from different accounts of, I think some Israeli accounts were putting this out of the families meeting some of the released hostages, just absolutely touching. I remember the father with the son, the mother. I mean, just powerful. It's powerful right here. They tell a story right here in Knesset.
Your name will be remembered to generations, and that is for each and every one that has already returned. This is a great moment for me because I'm American and I'm Israeli.
Powerful.
And this moral alliance that we have, that you see, is something to follow.
A lot of very emotional situations there, no doubt about it. And oh, here we go. Look at this. I got my life back thanks to you. Unbelievable.
Along with my friends, which were all murdered. One of them, Tamil is still held.
I've seen that.
Still held in Gaza. Later on, I was taken captive for 498 days, leaving my wife with just 2 girls. Up to then, she was pregnant in the bomb shelter for the whole period of time. What I thought is that they were all murdered as well. She later on gave birth, and I got my life back. Thanks to you and your staff. I came back here, met my baby girl when she was already 14 months old. And now life is full.
Wow. So basically, I know the sound is a little bit low on some of these clips, at least for the way I've got it piped through here. I got to look at the settings again. But basically, this person, unfortunately, was a hostage and was captured. His wife was pregnant. Wife had the baby while he was captured. He was able to come home and meet his baby girl for the first time. Just incredible. Now, here's Trump at the Knesset coming in, I believe, coming in to the standing ovation. I mean, we've seen Bibi get a standing ovation here. I mean, I think that's a relatively, I don't want to say common courtesy, but probably a courtesy right here. And so now this one, the Speaker of the Knesset nominates Trump for Nobel Peace Prize.
Mr. President, you more than any other individual are deserving of the highest recognition for your efforts in promoting peace. Therefore, I hereby announce that together with our good friend, Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, we will rally speakers and presidents of parliaments from around the world to submit your candidacy for the Nobel Prize, Peace Prize, next year. There is no one more deserving than you, President Trump.
Great reaction. People are saying, a lot of people are saying it, no doubt about it. Absolutely. Now, and this is from earlier going through Jerusalem. So that's, the sights and sounds of that. That's pretty good. I'll just let that roll there. I don't think we need the sound on that one. But Paul, I mean, let's talk about it. I mean, look, there's more to this day. Obviously, we're going to get to some stuff here, and then that's to Sharm el Sheikh. I think we have that they escorted him. The F-16s escorted him, and obviously, you know, U.S. makes the F-16s to Sharm el Sheikh. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty awesome right there. And here's Netanyahu, and then I'll get some comments on you. And then again, the highest award they gave a non-Israeli the highest Israel prize, Israel's highest award. Excuse me. Here we go. And very important right here, Prime Minister Netanyahu of Israel.
All you have done for us. I have submitted your nomination to be the first non-Israeli recipient of the Israel Prize, Israel's highest award.
Wow.
As to that other prize, just a question of time, you'll get it. But I want you to get the Israel Prize, our highest award.
Dude. Great honor. Thank you, great honor for Paul. I mean, if the day were to stop at that, okay, and we're gonna have oh my gosh. And then we have here President Trump calls on Israeli president to pardon Prime Minister Netanyahu. Let's hear that.
Been one of the greatest wartime presidents, and cigars and champagne. Who the hell?
Let's go then.
Enough controversy for the day. Actually, I don't think it's very controversial. So, you know, I see so popular. You are a very popular man. You know why? Because you know how to win.
So there we go. So asked him to pardon Prime Minister Netanyahu. So, I mean, like I said, now we have, and we'll get to some sound here in a second on with Trump's speech there in his discussion. But Paul, if the day were to end right there, that would have been a huge day. That would have been a very big day, in my opinion. But it didn't. It just continued. This situation, I mean, the event in Sharm el Sheikh was unbelievable with all those world leaders. I mean, what's your take on that?
It was incredible. Like I said, the feed that was coming through that I know that I saw, I believe was coming from Egypt, and they were playing like dramatic music over the footage. It was really well done. And as I said, I just did not realize how pretty that place is. Oh, yeah. It just was so physically beautiful, like the mountains and everything and the gathering. It was incredible. It really had the feeling of just the momentous occasion that it is. And as I said, I just don't think anybody else besides President Trump could have gotten this done.
No, it was so big. There's just no doubt about it. I mean, and this was a big historic day in Israel. But again, when we get to the Sharm el Sheikh stuff is unreal, unbelievable. Props to Margot Martin out there again, public domain voice for President Trump there. And here we go. And let's get to Trump's comments here at the Knesset, Israeli Knesset here about the hostages returning, which is fantastic. Here we go.
20 courageous hostages are returning to the glorious embrace of their families, and it is glorious. 28 more precious loved ones are coming home at last to rest in this sacred soil for all of time.
Just great. I mean, just a great day. A lot of things happening right there, no doubt about it. And now, then we go over here to Egypt and arrive, and I believe the leader there, El Sisi, was able to meet with them and ride in Trump's. They bring President Trump's limo. They call it the Beast. They were able to bring that. So let's get a little sound on that on this arrival here in Egypt. It's great to see all the leaders together. So that is just fantastic there. And then we have meeting with the president of Egypt right here.
Having an amazing period of time, like I think nobody's seen before. And we had tremendous stoppage, and
Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
We're in a country where a friend of mine is a very powerful leader, and my friend is right here, the president.
And you can see this, Trump really, and people kind of like, I don't know if they downplay it or undersold it, but I mean, Trump really, Paul, takes a lot of stock in and is able to really form and leverage these personal relationships with some of these leaders. Would you agree?
Yeah, I totally agree. And he clearly has very good relationships with some of the people in the Middle East. We saw that when he went over to the Middle East trip a few months ago, I believe. He clearly has a good relationship, it seems like, with the leader of Qatar, Emir of Qatar. He seems to have a good relationship with Erdogan, President Erdogan, who he said that today, and I believe that.
Yes.
And with El Sisi, in addition to others. And though I think those three are extremely and have been and were extremely pivotal to getting this agreement today. In fact, when they did the signing, when they did a signing in Egypt, those are the four people that signed, including Trump. Like, that's symbolic of how important those other three leaders are to this deal.
Absolutely. No question about it. And we have this year, Peace 2025. You look at this picture here, and it just says so much. I mean, you have so many different leaders there, right? Qatar, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Indonesia, France, Turkey, UK, Canada. Italy. I don't want to leave anyone out. Pakistan. There's so many different leaders there. It was absolutely unbelievable. You can just see how many there are here. There's just no doubt about it. Now let's get to this down here. This is the actual signing. This is from the White House, which is definitely public domain, obviously. And you've got, Qatar, Egypt, Turkey signing the Gaza peace plan. And he said that, and Trump even said during one of his speeches, and here's Monica Crowley. She's great and will often like a lot of my stuff on in response to her stuff on X. She's the ambassador, one of the ambassadors for the U.S. and was definitely there helping President Trump. He said, and President Trump said a lot of these leaders wanted to be on the board of peace there for Gaza. So let's hear this sound right here. Oh, I'm gonna hold on there. I don't know that I'm not sure about that music in regards to YouTube and stuff like that. So I just want to be very careful with that. But we definitely have. I'll hit. You can see him signing it here. And they're signing the peace deal, and Ambassador Crowley is helping them out there. And you see President Sisi there is also signing, which is great. So, I mean, these are all major, serious official documents there. And it's just a great day to see there. And I love the Peace 2025. I've been saying it on X for a while and not to get religious, stuff like that, but blessed are the peacemakers, and people have been picking this up, and you see peace in the Middle East and look at it. I mean, just look at these people here, whether, people, the dignitaries here in the audience, obviously the leaders up there. I mean, it just a star-studded political day there, in my opinion, Paul, in the Middle East. And it was nonstop. I think President Trump, I don't know when he slept. I mean, he's been going. I mean, people talk about, I mean, again, I don't want to get partisan, but the contrast between President Trump and President Biden in terms of the stamina, in terms of the accomplishments, I mean, it's unbelievable, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, people have commented on it all during this trip. In fact, I know that White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt put up a thing that, Trump was doing a reporter gaggle tonight on the trip home. And it's like 36 hours in and he's still going. You and I both know, we know people that are similar to Trump in this respect, like Silicon Valley, where he's just a workhorse. And his whole life he's been like this. This is how he is. This is what he expects to be. And it's what he wants to be. And when you're like that, your body just adjusts to it. I mean, it's a guy who doesn't sleep a lot and just goes, even at 79. It's pretty remarkable.
It is pretty remarkable. This is a key quote right here. A key quote, Rap Response 47, which is obviously White House admin account. And this is, let's play it right here. I want Trump in his own words about what this means and putting this in context of this situation and this deal right here.
This is not only the end of a war. This is the end of the age of terror and death and the beginning of the age of faith and hope and of God. It's the start of a grand concord and lasting harmony for Israel and all the nations of what will soon be a truly magnificent region. I believe that so strongly. This is the historic dawn of a new Middle East.
Wow.
This is not.
Wow. I mean, Paul, that is a huge statement. What's your take on that? I mean, how bullish are you on that? I mean, the thing is, I always believed in President Trump, but honestly, after today, I mean, who can doubt this dude? I mean, I don't want to oversell it, and we'll see how it all works out. But I mean, listen, I think there's a lot of opportunity here. Would you agree with that?
I totally agree. And I personally think it's going to happen. And you and I have talked about this before, because Trump has the vision and he has the backing of these different nations to really, truly invest in Gaza so that you can rebuild it in a way that can be give opportunity to the people there and have people want to come there. Well, and so I think, honestly, this is a turning point and it is going to go well. It doesn't mean it will be perfect, but I think we are on a new path because of President Trump.
No, I agree. I think, and I've been saying this for a long time, and I want to get to this. I want to get to the comments here in a second. We're not going to go much longer, but I mean, I have a couple more clips, and then I want to have a discussion with you about this. But it's funny because it's been a long few years, right? And I remember having, and I understand, I'm not catching any Spurs or anything like that, but I remember having discussions with different folks out there that are definitely were maybe pro one side or the other, and I kind of have been pushing this line for a while where Trump is at, and we're and the fruition of which I believe it. Not that anyone's President Trump's or anyone's consulting me, okay, but I mean it's although a lot of players, in my opinion, look at my accounts and look at it and same with Paul and we'll see what we said and what I basically said and I think we were getting pushback from both sides that wanted you to take a side and not that we were playing the middle or anything like that, or there was any kind of game. I don't want to say let me revise and extend that. Any kind of tactic or I'm trying to not take a position or get views or anything like that. It was more of as I said, an acknowledgement. And I've said this many, many times. I've gotten lots of family over there, and my wife's Aramaic and Catholic, Christian and stuff like that, and from Nazareth, where, I went to the old church and I saw all that type of stuff. And I was raised Catholic stuff. On the other hand, tons of my friends, I just reconnected with one of my best friends from law school who's Israeli and he's Jewish. And I almost married a Jewish woman before, in my opinion, we're definitely down that road, way back when. And lots of my friends are Jewish, and a lot of family members our ancestry is, we believe, part Jewish, Sephardic Jewish, stuff like that. And I have tons of family members on my wife's mother's side outside of Tel Aviv that are Jewish and stuff like that. And we grew up doing Seder stuff like that. The point of it is that I knew enough, and I don't want to get into these conversations, but I was telling Paul early on, it's like, dude, I know enough to know, in my opinion, you can't. How do I say this? I want to be very careful how I say this. You don't take anything. I'm going to be very general about this, and I think we understand why. I don't care if you're right, left, whatever like that. You don't take any one news source and just go all with that line or anything, even just from one country or anything like that. I think that, I'll look at Israeli sources, I'll look at UK sources, I'll look at US sources, I'll look at different sources like that. I've been over there. I've only been there once, but I was there for a while, and obviously I got family. It's like, I know enough to know that I don't know enough. I know enough to know that it's complicated. I know enough to know that whether it's Kissinger or way back, that this has been going on for a long time, Sadat, all the rest, Jimmy Carter, Clinton, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And that it was going to take, and I said this, and I actually emailed, DM'd, and I won't get into the private conversations, but I DM'd, Sean McGuire, Bill Ackman, some others, and was saying things publicly. I'll say this publicly, what I said to Joe Lonsdale. And Joe's, I think, been very good about this, and I think we're cool, in my opinion, is that not unlike not to be corny, but not unlike Captain Kirk and the Kobayashi Maroon, stuff like that. If the game's not working, you got to change the game. It's going to take different thinking. It's going to take a different approach. It's not enough to say like, we're right, you're wrong, we're good, you're bad. And I'm not saying anyone was that. And these are all very, very smart people. And I think I like to believe everyone's well-intentioned. They just have different points of view, different perspectives. The perspective of someone who went through October 7th and was affected by that might be very different than the perspective of someone that lived through the bombing of Gaza. I'm not saying there's either one is more right than the other. And I'm obviously probably going to make some mistakes here. So I apologize ahead of time and please, peace, love, opportunity, freedom for everyone. What I'm saying is, in order to get peace, you have to empathize with and understand where the other people are coming from. You know what I mean? And Trump is a master deal maker. You can say whatever you want about him. He's been a master deal maker, and that's been proven. I read The Art of the Deal and stuff like that. And it's kind of what Golda Meir said and so other, but I'm going to put a spin on it. You got to be willing, whatever it is. I don't care if it's the War of the Roses. I don't care if it's what's going on in Ukraine and in Russia right now. I don't care if it's the Protestant Catholic thing in the UK. Crusade. At some point, you got to get to a point where you're sick of fighting, and you want a better tomorrow for yourself and your and future generations, and you want to move forward and do something positive. And I think, as you said, Paul, and I'll get your comments on this. It was a combination of seeing what was possible, what Saudi Arabia's been doing, what UAE's been doing, what Abu Dhabi's been doing, what Dubai's been doing, and then seeing the other side of it with this strike in Doha, Qatar. I was like, whoa, wait a minute, this is getting, and there's been a lot of Israel's been fighting with a lot of countries, and people have been having different conversations, whether it was the Charlie Kirk thing, and I don't want to get into all that type of stuff, but there's been conversations here and different perceptions. And I think that, well, that was the other thing too. I mean, I really want to just touch on this extremely lightly. For any of those that wanted to participate in conspiracy theories or anything like that, I think President Trump showed clearly who's leading American policy today. All right. And I don't even want to give that any voice of that. And this is live, and I can revise and extend that, whatever like that. But I'm just saying that, like, it's too often in the internet, people chase clicks and just do silly stuff. And I'm not in anyone else's head. I'm not trying to impute motives or anything like that. But what I try to do, and I think Paul's tried to do, and I think that I was able to get through, along with other people, some very powerful people. And at first I took some heat for him. I could have been a sellout, bro. And maybe gotten paid, right? All kinds of, and then there's different, you can do your own. Anyway, I don't want to even go down that road. But to me, this day was what was needed to happen. This day was what was important. This day and this result is what we all needed to work for. And any small, minuscule part that I played in that of advocating for the right way and the right policy, and for peace, love, opportunity, freedom, prosperity, and respect, and autonomy for everyone, that's where we need to be. That's where we need to be. It's collaboration, working together, and respecting each other. I hope I didn't make any mistakes. I do apologize ahead of time. This is live. This is not perfect. But I think that seeing the humanity in everyone, we're all humans, dude. We all got to figure this out. We're all work together. Paul, agree, disagree, your comments on that?
Yeah, look, I think that there were a lot of different perspectives coming in on this process, and that there still will be going forward. And in terms of, we go into different phases of the plan, and I think that there were people who got caught up in this to a large extent, in one way or another, and it's understandable. It's a very emotionally charged issue, and it's been going on for such a long time. I think that's right. That's why I believe somebody like President Trump is the right person to cut through all of this. And I tell you, this is somebody from coming from a history perspective. I studied history in undergraduate and college. There's a debate in history, kind of the study of history, of whether the great men debate, or like the movement. Would have this happened anyway without this particular individual being around? Was it going to happen anyway? I am telling you right now, it's my personal opinion, that this does not happen now without President Trump.
I totally agree.
That is my personal opinion.
I totally agree.
I don't think you could have done it with somebody else.
I totally, right. Now, let me be very, very clear. I completely sign on that, in terms of, I think Trump, you had Obama the leading from behind type of philosophy or something like that. I think, and I don't think Trump does that. I think Trump definitely listens to people. I think he understands where the audience is. I think he's very good. Again, he's showman, and I mean that in the best sense. I think he can feel where the audience is, where people are, where the people are, where the electorate is. But then he has such unique abilities and force of personality and likability with other top leaders that he's able to make things happen that almost no one else. I mean, again, the right person at the right time. There was no one else that was talked about being president in that zone that I think could have pulled this off. And again, not to be political or partisan, but I mean, if it were President Biden, President Harris, come on. I don't think this happened. There's no way I see this happening. Let's get President Trump's comments here, and then we'll wind down here. A couple more comments here. This is talking about this agreement here. This is part of. I saw this live as well.
This is the day that people across the region and around.
Leader of Pakistan right there. UK Prime Minister right here. I don't know everyone on stage here. President of Italy right behind him. Meloni's right behind him.
Around the world have been working, striving.
I believe over here is Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney over here.
Hoping and praying for. They have done things over the last month that I think were really unthinkable. Nobody thought this could happen. With the historic agreement we've just signed, those prayers of millions have finally been answered. As you know, the hostages have been returned.
Wow, incredible.
And further work goes on having to do with the, sadly to say, bodies. Together we've achieved what everybody said was impossible. At long last, we have peace in the Middle East. And it's a very simple expression, peace in the Middle East. And we've heard it for many years, but nobody thought it could ever get there. And now we're there.
And that's incredible. And again, I want to be very positive. I want to keep this day extremely positive. President of Pakistan, Prime Minister of Pakistan nominated President Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize here. We'll get that side real quick, and I will say something real quick.
Wonderful candidate for Peace Prize because
very nice.
He has brought not only peace in South Asia, saved.
Right. I mean, that's the thing. Paul, this is what, his 7th, 8th war that Trump has stopped, including the conflict, potential conflict or whatever, the conflict there between India and Pakistan, which is, 2 nuclear powers, is no joke. And that there's been ongoing, issues there for many, many years. That's a big deal. So let's get these comments here.
Millions of people, their lives. And today, here in Sharm el-Sheikh, achieving peace in Gaza is saving millions of lives in the Middle East. Mr. President, I would like to salute you for your exemplary leadership, visionary leadership, and I think that you're the man this world needed most at this point in time. World would always remember you as a man who did everything, went out of the way to stop 7 and today 8 wars.
8. That's it. 8 war. Leaders got to lead, dude, and he led. And so we saw here Together for Peace. So then that's him departing. I mean, historic trip right there, and it said it's like something like 36 hours. And here's him doing a press thing. Steve Doocy from Fox News, 36 hours on this trip. It's unbelievable. Margot Martin repeating press secretary Carolyn Levitt's post right there. I mean, it's just nonstop. There's no doubt about it. So, I mean, it's a big, big day. Absolutely. Let's wind this down, Paul. I mean, I appreciate you joining. I know you've been working hard all day. What's your take on this? Where do we go from here? How big of a day it is, and what's next?
Yeah, it's a historic day. That's my personal feeling. I think that will stand the test of time. And where we go from here is deciding. There's still, I believe, some some bodies that have to come back, and they're, of course, they have to figure out exactly what's going to happen with Hamas, I guess, in terms of winding what they're going to do, and then they have to decide what's going to happen with Gaza. But I think there's a strong commitment from different players in the region to help rebuild, to help govern, and then they can just move forward from there about what is the plan moving forward.
Okay. Fantastic. No doubt about it. And this is really, really big. And I think that, you know, we'll see what happens from here. But this day was a huge, huge day. And let's hope for good things and let's hope for positivity. And, you know, I just can't thank President Trump and the team enough. They did it. They did it. They did it. They did it. Obviously, you know, it's like a diet or anything else. Like you got to stick to it every day. So we'll see what tomorrow brings. But I mean, and I don't mean that in any flippant way whatsoever. This is a huge day. You know, the hostages are released. That's very solid. I mean, that's you know a massive accomplishment that is long lasting, obviously, you know, and permanent. Permanent is the word I was looking for. And I think this opens up the possibilities. I think people want something different. So extremely happy day, great day. I'm a little bit not on my A game right now because I've been up watching this stuff, you know, glued, you know, to the coverage and great coverage out there from the various networks and obviously President Trump's team and hat tip there for Margot Martin, social media, Carolyn Levitt, and the White House account, and obviously President Trump just posting stuff, and it's just been very, very good. So very good. Honestly, it's awesome day. So very, very positive. I'm looking forward to see the opportunities that come out of this. This is going to be great. So any last comments you have, Paul?
No, like I said, I'm extremely hopeful about things as we get to the next steps, and I'm looking forward to it.
Fantastic. Yep, I agree with that. Great. Love to get your comments on that. It's been a great day. Extremely exciting. For Paul, I'm John D. Villarreal. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. And congratulations to President Trump and everyone involved there. It's an awesome day.